Hello! Today I'm going to be doing my least favorite books of 2016. I uploaded my favorite books of 2016 just a couple of days ago, and I like that video, obviously, because I liked all the books that I'm talking about in that video, so you should go check that out if you want to hear some positivity. But today I'm going to be talking negatively about some books that you might or might not love. I've never really done a least favorites video on my channel just because I don't usually like to talk negatively about a bunch of books all at one time, but I would like to tell you about some of the books that I think aren't as great as maybe what other people are saying, or just aren't as good as what I was hoping they would be. I have 6 books to talk about in this video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. But before I do, I just want to do a really quick, almost unnecessary disclaimer saying that these are, of course, my own opinions. You are more than welcome to love these books. I'm sorry that I don't. If they're your favorites, I'm not meaning to offend anyone. These are just books that I personally either didn't like or was just really disappointed in, and it's my opinion, and we can still be friends. So the first book I'm going to talk about is a book that I don't necessarily dislike. I was just super disappointed in it. I wanted to love it and I just didn't, and that was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I read this back in the summer and I've talked about it a couple times on my channel about how I just was really expecting a lot more. Everybody seems to love this book. It is highly raved about. I don't know that many people that don't enjoy it, and I just didn't. I really liked the writing in this book, and I think that it raises some really important ideas about race and gender and identity, but overall, I was just really disappointed in it. I was expecting a lot more, and I was a little bit let down. So that's why Everything I Never Told You has made it onto my least favorites of 2016. The next book that I am going to talk about is a book that I talked about pretty recently in my December wrap-up video, and that is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Now, this isn't a book that I would say that I'm super disappointed in, because I knew that there were a lot of negative reviews surrounding it before I started reading it, but this is a book that I am a little bit disappointed in because of the subject matter. It is about 2 teenagers who are dealing with some suicidal thoughts, and I don't think that this book handles that very well. It kind of is used as a plot device, and I don't appreciate that and I don't enjoy it. I was aware that that might be the way that I would feel about it because of all the reviews that it's gotten prior to me, but I still was disappointed in it. I just think it's very important to portray mental illness and suicide and depression in a way that helps people to understand more about it, and I don't think that this is the book that did that. So that's why it's on my least favorites of 2016. The next book I'm going to talk about is another book that I feel like can go either way, but I feel like a lot more people love it than hate it, and I unfortunately do not love it, and that is The Girls by Emma Cline. This is a kind of retelling of the Manson murders, but it's not really about the Manson murders. It's about this girl who kind of gets caught up in a Manson-like cult. I am interested in the Manson murders in that they're interesting to know about and to like research. I hated the writing style in this book. It was so frustrating. It had so much unnecessary flowery detail that I did not need. There were some really interesting, weird, not good analogies made in this book that I was like, I think that's stupid and I don't enjoy this. I just think that the writing was a little bit pretentious. I felt like it was trying a little too hard to be so philosophical and cool when it was just not that to me, and unfortunately it wasn't doing it for me, so I did not enjoy this book. The next book I'm going to talk about is I Was Here by Gail Forman. Similarly to All the Bright Places, I don't think that this book portrays mental illness and suicide in a very positive way. I felt like, again, it was kind of used as a plot device. I felt like this book really like romanticized and fantasized suicide in a way that I don't think is healthy to portray in a YA book. It's about a girl whose best friend commits suicide, and so she kind of tries to understand exactly why her friend did this, and she gets kind of swept up in this relationship with this guy. I don't know, it felt like it focused too much on a relationship aspect. There wasn't really enough focus on the mental illness side of it, and then again I felt like suicide was kind of romanticized in this book to a certain extent, and so I was just not happy with it. I was really disappointed that this is what it is, because Gail Forman is a really talented, amazing writer, and this is just not her best. The last 2 books are easily my least favorite books of the year and possibly some of my least favorite books of all time. Where'd You Go, Bernadette was a book that I read in the summer and I hated it. It's about a girl who has a very eccentric mother who decides to run away, and so the whole book is the daughter collecting these emails and memos and text message conversations, trying to piece together exactly where her mother might have gone, and I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated the characters, I hated the story, I hated the ending. I didn't like it at all. There were some times where I thought maybe this is a little bit funny, but other than that, Bernadette is easily the most unlikable character I've ever read, and I could not stand reading about her. I hated this book so much. And finally, my least favorite book of the year and of all time, the only book that I've ever given a 1-star rating to on Goodreads, You by Caroline Kepnes. I've talked about this book in so many videos about how much I hated it. It's told from the point of view of a stalker who is stalking this woman, but it's told in second person, so he says, you did this and you are this, and so it felt like he was talking to you, which I get is kind of the point, but it made me feel really creepy and icky. It's an erotic thriller, which I wasn't really prepared for going into because I didn't know that that's kind of the story route it was going to take. It just made me really uncomfortable to read it. I hated it. I hated it. I can't say anything else besides I hated this book. So those are my least favorite books of 2016. I hope that I didn't offend anybody in this video by talking about maybe what could have been one of your favorite books of all time. But these are just books that I was not impressed with, disappointed in, hated, like I said a couple times. I just didn't like them, but it's definitely okay that you did, and I hope that we can still be friends after this. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned in this video, please let me know down in the comments. I'm sure that most of you have a differing opinion than mine, but if you have a similar opinion, I'd love to know as well. Also down in the comments, let me know some books that you read in 2016 that you were either really disappointed in or just did not like. Maybe you hated one of my favorite books. I'd be really interested to know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!